guys, it's Steve, and how are you guys? Hope you guys are enjoying the reviews. Here it is, Avengers and X-Men, the issue Axis 5. It is Apocalypse now, Act 2 of Avengers and X-Men. Axis continues as we see the fallout of the inversion. Last issue showed a lot of promise with its focus on superior Iron Man, Carnage, and the X-Men, but Iron Man and Carnage don't even show up in this issue, and now the X-Men are quite as Apocalypse dolls are his mantra. There are some great scenes in issue 5 between Spider-Man and Nova, but putting the spotlight on them without involving those other characters makes the narrative unfocused. Without a character or group to act as the main through line of the event, Axis doesn't feel like one cohesive tale. Remender writes a snappy Spider-Man, and on a side note, with his sense of humor, you could see him doing a great job if he were to take over an amazing Spider-Man one day. The interaction Spider-Man has with Nova are great fun, and when the Avengers reveal their crazy side, their escape certainly thrills, but the quality takes a dip after that. We are left with the X-Men and Apocalypse invading Avengers Tower to smack around Captain Falcon and make their play for dominance. Thing is, there's no one to root for in that scene. They're all jerks. So instead of feeling dramatic, the issue goes out on an indifferent note. It was inevitable for the X-Men and Avengers to clash once the inversion struck, but with both groups acting cartoonishly evil. It's hard to feel invested in the conflict. Last issue received a good score for the interesting premise. It's set up with the inversion concept, but writer Remender doesn't do anything noteworthy with it this time around. I'm reminded of when he brought the Age of Apocalypse Nightcrawler into his Uncanny X-Force story, and how interesting it was to see him explore a decidedly darker Nightcrawler. Here, however, he doesn't seem to be exploring the concept of what it means for a hero to act evil or vice versa. There's no playing around with the personalities or showcasing characters interacting in their altered state. They're all just plain old evil, and since when has that even ever been any fun? It's kind of a plain story if he can go with that. Artist Terry and Rachel Dawson take over on our duties, turning out one heck of a beautiful issue. The characters are expressive and lively, the action is big and bold, and the storytelling goes off without a hitch. The only downside is that when Axis is collected into a graphic novel, it will have wildly inconsistent visuals. There have been 3 different artists on these first 5 issues, and none of them have even remotely similar styles. Between the art and the storytelling, the best word to describe Axis is inconsistent. At the end of the day, what's most bothersome while reading this issue is that after years of waiting to see the end of Remender's Apocalypse story, the one that started in Uncanny X-Force went through Uncanny Avengers and is now climaxing in Axis. It's nowhere near as satisfying as one would expect given how great the build-up has been. Axis isn't over yet, so of course it's impossible to judge it completely, but with the way things are going, it looks there's just not enough time or space in Axis to do the story justice. So it's been quite a long time doing over there, so kind of things. And after that, we can see that this leaves both Spider-Man and Nova's that we have to go beyond that only the reviews. Let's go back to the page of the story. So we got over here in the Avengers mansion that something is going on. There are magnitude, but Steve Rogers doesn't reveal anything that we don't already know. He says all the Avengers that were on Genosha have been inverted, and all the villains that were there as well were inverted too. Now a guy like Steve Rogers can be forgiven for not knowing the details, since he wasn't there and he knows as much about inversions as I know about quantum mechanics, but it still comes off as painfully incomplete. The thought is there, but the results are kind of unlike my old algebra class. This shit isn't graded on a curve. Steve Rogers actually spends more time worrying about the new inverted Hulk, who goes by Plus, since coming up with another name might actually have required effort somehow, and exceedingly pissed off all is far more of a concern than the Avengers turning evil. Now, to be fair, I think both concerns are fairly even when it comes to levels of fucked up. Yeah, that's bad language. I shouldn't have used that one, but it's a kind of a story. I have to use it while describing these stories, and it gets even choppier than that. While Spider-Man and Steve Rogers were busy banging their heads against the wall over Nova's latest rookie mistake, the X-Men show up to make their day even worse. They arrive in New York City packing Apocalypse Caliber firepower. Storm announced in the previous issue that the X-Men were ditching the whole peace and love part of their mission and skipping straight to the part where they tell humanity to fuck off, and they do a damn good job. So thanks for the X-Men Supreme block spot. I really like his or her that it makes a really good fun doing this review with some kind of excellent performance review. So I'm gonna do it, yes, and it's pretty much enjoying. I'm sharing with you guys. That is pretty cool. So it's not much of a fight though. Again, it's not intended to be the same epic battle we saw against the Red Skull earlier. The main goal here is for the X-Men to let the Avengers know that their inverted asses are grass, and if they want avoid resorting to solving problems with giant guns, they'll order every human being to evacuate Manhattan Island. It's exactly as unreasonable as it sounds. The only thing that makes it enjoyable is seeing Apocalypse punch Captain America repeatedly in the face. Granted, it's not as unreasonable as it could have been. He doesn't say he intends to wipe out every human in the state of New York. He doesn't even say he wants them all to kiss his ass on the way out. That's a pretty mashup. Funny review, reasonable or not, the lack of refinement in this whole inverted concept still makes for a choppy and confusing plot. So while doing this review also, and while I read it, that is pretty much enjoying, though it's not a good kind of thing expected with others, but I really enjoyed it. So thanks for watching, hit the like.